good evening everyone. Welcome to the Resonate, New Word Order reading by Dan Koh. My name is Laramie. I will be the moderator for this evening. So as Alia has already introduced the New Word Order, it's a monthly series organized by the Arts House, featuring new local literary voices and emerging talents. So Dan has organized this reading as a part of the series to share his work for his Singapore Creative Writing Residency. So please allow me to introduce the star of today's show, Mr. Dan Koh. Dan is a writer and editor existing in Jurong. As a local writer in residence for the Singapore Creative Writing Residency 2013, Dan writes creative non-fiction and plays revolving around Singapore's history and culture, as well as notions of home, displacement, the city, and the countryside. Dan co-authored the ebook Gila Bola for the Singapore Memory Project in 2012, and his one-act play, Staying Over, was staged by Buds Theatre in 2010 and published in Voices Clear and True New Singapore Plays Volume 1 in 2012. His other short plays have been staged by Checkpoint Theatre and NUS Stage. Dan's writing has also been published in Nylon Singapore, BiblioAsia, Ziggy, InSing.com, and IS Magazine. Dan is the co-founder and former editor of Postcode.sg, an online magazine that celebrates modern Singapore, its places, people, and phenomena. Dan is also an editorial assistant at the publisher Epigram Books, editing their non-fiction and design and photography titles like Cox, Our Neighborhoods, We Love Bedok, and Iskandar Ismail, The Music Man. So the evening will proceed as follows. Dan will first read a creative non-fiction piece. Next, Jin Shen, Darren and Aruna, under Joel Tan's direction, will perform dramatic readings of extracts of Dan's plays. And we will then have a question and answer session before wrapping up the evening. So without further ado, let us warmly welcome Dan as he reads a creative non-fiction piece entitled Soundscaping Jurong. Soundscaping is a series of Postcode.sg articles and mixtapes about different neighborhoods and how music changes place. Dan's piece is on the soundscape of Jurong and will be accompanied by music curated by Safwan Johari and images taken by Zhou Lian Cheng. So Dan, please.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming. It's really good to see lots of familiar faces, and thanks Laramie also. We kind of all, Laramie, Joel, Jun Cheng, and I, we all kind of studied together in NUS, English Literature, so it's quite special that, we can all kind of come together again. Just before I start my reading, I just want to say a few things because I'm probably going to forget them later. I hope you enjoyed the Mariah Carey, and I also just want to thank all the people who helped help me on my way here today. I mean, not that this is an award ceremony or something, but I just want to say, thanks to the Arts House and thanks to the University Scholars Program, really, for even organizing the Singapore Creative Writing Residency. It's really rare as a writer to be given, time and space to out of your full-time jobs to write. So, Jasmine, who's the other writer in residence, who's there. And I think I can fairly say that we're really grateful for this opportunity. And if there are any writers out there, their application I think is opening soon, maybe for next year. So please consider. And thanks to all the people that I work with, Epigram Books for hiring me. Huzier Sulaiman, who was really formative in my writing experience. In the Singapore Memory Project, whose books we're sort of selling out there, and most importantly, my parents and my sister. So okay, the award speech is over, and I'm just going to today, as I said, I'm just going to read this Soundscaping Jurong piece. It's a little bit long. I mean, it will be over in 20 minutes, so just bear with me. And if we could just dim the lights, feel free to let your thoughts drift. And okay, cool. Sorry, Mariah is Let me stop, Mariah. Sorry. Okay. local music now. So this is entitled Soundscaping Jurong. Jurong, I kiss your foot. I kiss your foot, Jurong, because you are nothing but a food. I hope you don't mind me saying this, Jurong, but if Changi is our head, the rational part of our mind that tells us we must fly away, even for a while, to keep saying, City Hall our navel and Tiong Bahru our groin, what with its former sexual and current commercial gaudiness, then you must be our foot. Big-footed Jurong, containing within your veins of the Jurong River, corns of HDB and industrial palaces, the east, the west, Nanyang, Boon Lay, Tuas, Pioneer, and the Banyan, Jurong Island. Can anything accommodate you, Jurong? As a foot, I think you are best hidden away, Jurong. Even as you grow and transform in your falsity, splitting the confines of the lost region, as someone once called you. Others make fun of us, Jurong. Have you heard? Wow, going Jurong ah, got bring your passport? I think we should succeed, Jurong. There are enough of us. We have enough space. We could get by. We already have our own island of oil, and we could make the Japanese and Chinese gardens our graveyard and istana. On the first Independence Day, August 10th, we would deign to kiss our feet. A photograph exists of my sister and I in the Jurong East of 1991. A few years after we were born and our parents had moved here, the Jurong East in the picture is very green, white and red, even though the colors are faded. Taken a few days before National Day, the photograph has my sister and I standing before recently erected HDBs, whose recently settled residents are flying their flags. The trees and the grass in the field we are standing in are very luscious, as newly planted ones are. I don't know where we are anymore, but I do still know that in the picture, we are happy. Actually, my first memory of Jurong revolves around Jurong East MRT. Since every destination from Jurong lies in the east, terminating at either Pasir Ris or Marina Bay, I remember the sight as the train pulled away towards Clementi. If you stood at the train doors looking towards IMM, the International Merchandise Mart as it once stood for, you would see the open fields below speeding by. Some parts of the land were cratered, others possessed boulders. On this moonscape, a pack of wild dogs, always brown, black, and dirty white, would chase the MRT as if it was a car, as if it was a person, as if to warn of the dangers of heading away from Jurong. For some reason, they never seemed to care for the trains pulling in. Today, this site is the center of Jurong's change. The two land parcels, like gifts they were, between the MRT and IMM are being converted like an act of faith into Westgate, a retail and office development, and two hospitals. These developments are part of the Urban Redevelopment Authority's ongoing plan to remake Jurong into the Jurong Lake District, a lakeside destination for business and leisure. Just in time for Christmas, Westgate will open, bearing the title of Singapore's largest outdoor playground in the mall, which puts it in good stead with the mall's gem, the only mall where the ceiling collapsed, and JQ. If Jurong is following the Tampines model, where there are also 3 shopping malls and several offices, then citizens here too will never need to venture to town. Truly, Jurong East will become a place where I can be born at the Ng Teng Fong General Hospital, live at Jurong East Street 21, work at Jurong East Street 21, and die at the Jurong Community Hospital. I'm not sure if that boy or girl in the picture would today choose to be based in Jurong though. What I value most about Jurong is its symbolic and restorative purposes. I like being away from all that is considered important. For example, City Hall has the Raffles Hotel, Kallang may have the Lee Kuan Yew National Stadium, but Jurong gets the Devan Nair Institute for Employment and Employability. When I'm walking around Jurong or Chinese Garden, which is undergoing its own redevelopment, Pandan Reservoir, Jurong Hill, or even just the soccer field next to Masjid Al Mukminin, I like being nearly alone. And when I'm not, I like being surrounded by foreign workers going back to the dormitories on bus 183, or the louder chatter and broader smiles of Malaysians, Chinese, and Indians closer to Boon Lay and its second link. I like that they express themselves, and I like the noise-cancelling earphones were invented. Popping mine in, I set out to find if there is any house or even home left in this thing called Jurong. Bus 99 comes highly recommended if you should like a tour of the neighborhood. I can't find it on TripAdvisor, but the route it takes provides a fairly accurate initiation into Jurong living. If you hop on from Boon Lay Way, which marks the beginning of my Jurong, it will bring you through what I consider the main thoroughfares of Jurong, Jurong East and West Avenues 1, before it takes you to the brink of civilization, Jurong West Avenue 4, which meets Pioneer Road North, and shortly thereafter, the beginning of Factory Land. As a schoolboy, I once took bus 99 in the wrong direction, and instead of heading home, ended up somewhere there. It was late, I was in tears, and I had to buy a slice of watermelon from a confused auntie in order to get change to call my mother. On another day, I'm listening to a mix by Syndicate's Max Lane, another Jurong resident, as we flag down the double-decker bus. As I take the seats on the second floor's front row, left, my version of riding shotgun, the mixtape tentatively chugs to life with the gurgling electronics of Takaki Masakatsu's You. Syncopated snatches of children's voices arise as to coagulate into the strains of a children's song. Max later informs me that it's the Bahasa Indonesia version of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, probably from the Japanese composer's few recordings. On my left, from this vantage point, is where Akim, my third uncle's wife, stays at Jurong East Street 13. On my father's side of the family is scattered around the island. My mother's brothers and sisters, except for one, live in the west, most in Jurong. They were farmers and shopkeepers from Lim Chu Kang's Amaken village, and after they were evicted in the 1970s, they were given priority to move into the new nearby neighborhoods like Jurong. The sisters who were married by then moved to their husband's place, as is customary, but because they mostly married or arranged to be married to neighboring villages, they stuck to the west. Today, Amaken is most known for producing Tan Cheng Bock, most recently the unlucky presidential candidate, but more meaningfully, the medical director of Amaken Medical Clinic since 1971. When Tan himself was, quote, resettled, he was moved to various neighborhoods before finally moving home, in a sense, to Jurong West, where he closed shop last year. All along, he kept the name Amaken, and in his retirement note, he writes how when he started a practice there, quote, many people thought I was crazy as there were so many others in town. But I love medicine and practicing in the rural environment was my idea of doctoring. The village children were incredible. I loved them, full of fun and loved playing in the rain. They all loved to carry my doctor's bag, unquote. When I was an urban child, I spent many an afternoon after school at Akim's. Before my mother picked me up at 7 p.m., Akim will cook an extraordinary meal. I would insist on her mixing the sauce of the Chinese green beans and beef, foamed over with oil, into the rice for me. Chop chop, we called the process. Then I would play endless games of blackjack with her husband, my uncle Saku. After Akim bore him 2 sons, Saku met with a rather serious motorcycle accident. If he preferred to shuffle around in his pajamas, I would play hopscotch by myself, using the brown and cream-colored towels. Finally, as the sun set, I would wait for my mother in Akim's corridor, directly overlooking the MRT train tracks. I found the trains rumble, noisy, and an invasion of privacy. But back then, I hadn't seen Congo yet. The children's song segues into the undulating watery accents of If Not Love, What Will by Three Goddess, Max Lane's first pseudonym, as 99 goes straight on past its beginning. The song shifts gear. The song shifts gears, powering down as if the entire Jurong industrial estate finally took a breather. Quote, goes folly, unquote, as Goh Keng Swee, Singapore's second Deputy Prime Minister, admitted it was called by some, quote, traditionalists initially. It is difficult to overstate the importance of the industrial experiment that is Jurong. From the 1950s, plans were already in motion to convert Jurong's large expanse of land into a port and a home for industrial facilities. And today, it stands as an international case study of how to transform a largely rural country into money from heavy industries. The success of Jurong is a major part of Singapore's success, admits Lee Kuan Yew, and Jurong Town Corporation, the catalyst of Jurong's transformation, now manages many other industrial parks outside the confines of its name. On my right is the point block of my best friend. As we walked by Jurong West's countless traffic lights, I remember how we became friends by simple virtue of our uluness. Uluness means like remote. We were the school bus's last stops. He lives in Pongo with his partner now, but I always envied how from his family's 24th story flat, you could look out and see the pavilions of Chinese gardens and Seiwayan, the former name of Japanese gardens, plus beyond them the multinational factories. Certain Jurong nights smell of cocoa thanks to the Nestle plant. We turned into the Jurong Town Hall Road and passed Park Oasis where my other primary and secondary school friend lives. He too, like my uncle, met with a traffic accident but recovered and now bakes bread. He passed me one loaf recently. Every bite is crunchy and soft in the center. Jurong wasn't always an ideal place for friends to stay. Before Jurong Industrial Estate began to be constructed in earnest, Ong Chang Sam of the Barisan Socialist Political Party criticized the government in 1961 for acquiring land at Bulim in Jurong, occupied now meaning 1961, by more than 20 families. These families argued that they were being inadequately compensated for their family land, but they were judged to have illegally occupied it and were termed quarters. In 1963, the Ministry of National Development, quote, cleared another hurdle, unquote, by obtaining a court order against 38 other families who were all given a month to leave their homes for the construction of the Jurong railway line. In the same year, Jurong's first low-cost housing solution, Taman Jurong, was built to house the workers of Jurong Industrial Estate. But not before some of these workers made themselves heard. Because of the pollution, they would rather not live near their factories, they said. As a compromise, rebates were extended to them, and green spaces like the Japanese garden were constructed to, in some sense, balance out the smog, and in another sense, to recognize the Japanese government's economic assistance of Jurong's industrialization, just some 17 years after the end of the Japanese occupation. 99 chugs us bumpily along Jurong East Avenue 1, past Jurong Polyclinic and a wonderfully unhygienic 24-hour coffee shop where Mansley and I first met. It's the musical turn of London producer Barrios UK and Angelo Badalamenti's Lorando, most famously used in David Lynch's love letter to LA, Mulholland Drive. And this mashup of the two busy cities shrouded in modern myth brings to mind stories of a more ignored one. As we crossed the Jurong River, now a canal, I recall how in the early 20th century, at least 12 crocodiles were reported to guard the unpassable Sungi Jurong hungrily. Over at today's Chinese gardens, a pair of crocodiles resurfaced in the 1970s. While I never even visited the Jurong Reptile Park before it closed, Jurong has been a place of savage greenery for as long as I've known it. In 1837, the Horticultural Society paid a visit to a coffee plantation here and noted that the, quote, forest trees had been cut down and allowed to remain as they fell, to decay in the process of time, unquote. The, quote, Chinaman farmers, quote, prided themselves on the economy with which his wood clearing had been infected, the author notes. Thanks to the Chinese, trees kept falling, for in 1883, the Land Settlement Bill was tabled to the Legislative Council, citing Jurong as an example of how the Chinese have entered land without claim or title and, quote, left the country one vast desert, unquote. In this barren wasteland, quite without ever having had an Eden, wildness thrived. In the early 1900s, a man managed to kill his sixth tiger here. Pirates abounded, the last fleet was only wiped out in 1909, and even newspapers seemed to get bored of reporting about deaths in Jurong. In 1883, it is simply reported that another dead body was found here, whereas back in 1848, the find of a decomposed and tied-up body was identified as belonging to Lim Ah Kong, who was dumped at the Jurong River. As an aside, the journalist helpfully identifies that this place is, quote, some miles of the jungle at the very back part of the island, unquote. And of course, the wild and perhaps reckless yet invaluable ambition of Jurong Industrial Estate, resettling some yet rehousing many, bloomed. A Across the river, we are making our way along Jurong West Avenue 1, reaching the end, where somewhere lies the flat of Tiku, my mother's second brother. Every Chinese New Year, we can't remember Tiku's street number, let alone flat. And even now, I think his place is somewhere to the left of this paint shop, or maybe further on past that pawn shop. Unfortunately, his unit number is easy to remember. We simply alight in the middle of the block and keep walking down till we find the door with a fresh coat of red paint, vainly covering the loan shark's tidings. According to my cousin, his retired father is a formidable man, except around his overbearing wife. A woman of uncommon beauty. The word this Chinese New Year was that her face looked rather tight. A simple greeting of Gong Hei Fat Choi, which means Happy New Year, does not suffice her. She spouts classical Chinese idioms back at you, which I think have something to do with the clouds or hills or mist of Jurong West. Earlier this year though, Tiku slaps her hand away when I showed him an old photograph of the Ama King temple. His son, an avid photographer, ushers me away to his computer, where he pulls up better pictures of the past. After the village's 20 or so shophouses were demolished, they moved to the nearby Lorong Rusuk. In one photograph, he scales a rambutan tree in his slippers with a full blossom of center-parted hair. In another, the family is paving the garden into a fake badminton court. When they were evicted again in the 1980s, he explains, the government compensated them by square foot of concrete, so urbanization paid off for them too. Quote, actually something I don't like to talk about, he said about his village. It's something I'm still very sentimental about, unquote. He just shuts down the computer, and in a brief flicker, I spot the tetrabytes of his folders with names like Old Lim Chu Kang House 82E, Old Lim Chu Kang House November 82, Lim Chu Kang Reservoir, and Lim Chu Kang Beach 84. One day, I will have to return there. The bleed of natural sound from outside the headphones, writes critic Rory Gibb of Urban Explorer Burial, feels completely contingent with the music itself. As Burial gives way to the guitarist Christian Finesse, mixed with Chet Baker and Clark, I alight and try to find the traffic noise even on this weekday musical. But when Chet sings those immortal lines, the looks are laughable, unphotographable. I can't help but agree. After Boon Lay Place Shopping Centre is where the Savoy Theatre is supposed to be. The Wilson parking sign identifies it as such. But it has become a failing food court and a peaceful Thai barber. Another sign, Boon Lay Swimming Pool. But when I enter, it turns out to be a hockey village. The chlorinated blue turns solid green. Yes, a lady asks when I enter. This is a private property. And further along, I can't help but laugh when the political banner identifies the area as falling under Chua Chu Kang Group Representation Constituency. But across the road, a rainbow arch says, Nanyang welcomes you. Another city appears in my mind, The Twins, Prague, by composer Max Richter. Where am I? I feel like a child, I feel like I am lost. I feel like I should have come here earlier. In one of their wonderful rambling reports, the Singapore Free Press and Mercantile Advisor in 1908 encounters the quote, Guru of Jurong. After dozing off by the Jurong River, the eyewitness, identified only as Clan, is awakened by voices. The Guru is delivering a sermon to a man and girl set before him. Clan writes, quote, the speaker was standing on a knoll above, a half-clad figure, naked to the waist, with a rosary of large amber heads that glistened in the setting sun. His unkempt locks strayed over his shoulders, and the deep-set eyes looked out from caven depths overhung by shaggy eyebrows. Unquote. In a voice like the prophet of old might denounce, Clem writes, the Guru begins to tell the story of Mustafa and Fatima. Mustafa is in love with Fatima, but when Mustafa's father becomes rich through the sale of land for the railway, he arranges for Mustafa to marry a state official's daughter. Fatima, on the other hand, is of low birth and refuses to take the tradition-bound, subservient place in a new household. She would rather kill herself. On the day of Mustafa's wedding to Fatima's rival, from the jungle comes bursting a wild figure. When the crowd turns to look at the bride, they only find the face of Fatima, the spurned lover. The guru thus advises the man and girl enigmatically. There has never been a difficulty so great that the wit of man cannot overcome if he rely on the old gods. As I wander on in search of an MRT to bring me back to my senses, I remember that earlier this year, I saw the Jurong dogs again. Dogs like the dogs in my first auntie's kampong, the one after Ama Keng and Lorong Rusuk, which she clung on to until the 1990s. The village at Jalan Berhar, near to where I am now. I was lucky enough to visit her as a child, and I proudly wrote about it in a school composition. Every Sunday on Asef Road, we would turn off the paved road and into a bumpy dirt path where we would meet Tuahi and her dogs, Prince, and I don't recall anymore the name of her other dog. But the dogs I saw there they were, at a road junction, dashing past the cars, carelessly in the middle of paved roads, across manicured dirt. In one plot, they found some dry cat food that someone had left out, and they all fed. Standing there, way past the time when trains would rumble by, I took out my phone and photographed the wild dogs. But it was night, and the picture turned out to be all a blur. I can't see anymore their brown, black, and dirty white bodies. Just eyes of red reflected in the light. Thanks.
Thank you, Dan, for the very moving piece of hero. We will now move to the dramatic readings. Let's invite Fu Jinsheng, Darren Guo, and Aruna Narendran to the stage as they stage a dramatic read of excerpts of 3 plays written by Dan Koh. The readings are directed by Joel Tan. The first play extract for this evening is Staying Over. In Staying Over, John, an HDB dwelling boy, spends the night at his cousins Caroline and Benjamin's bungalow in Serangoon Gardens. John keeps putting off his return home, and as his one-night stay turns into a virtual moving in, he believes he grows closer to Apo's helper, Siti, and decides to stage a birthday play for her. Chinshen, Darren, and Aruna will be reading Scene 2 and Scene 5 of the play. Take it away, guys.
Stage directions.
Voice of Benjamin.
Voice of John.
Voice of Caroline.
Scene 2. Late afternoon, Caroline, John, and Benjamin are on the swing. Caroline is playing a Game Boy. Benjamin, looking over her shoulder.
There! No, there! Down! Faster! Aiyah, you see lah? I told you to put it there. Luckily you got one more life.
Just go away, Benjamin. Nobody wants your advice.
Fine, just trying to help. Boring. So boring. So boring.
Just go run off a cliff.
Mommy says I can't run with my asthma.
Then walk.
It's hot and sweaty. Later my eczema get worse.
Benjamin takes hold of the swing's upper bar and swings himself up by the legs. Lets go of his hands.
Careful, you will fall and then your head will open flower.
Benjamin, dangling by his legs, sweeps his hands across Caroline's face repeatedly.
You're going to die. Die. Die, die.
John, let's just talk among ourselves. The little irritant will go away once you ignore him.
Sure, what do you want to talk about?
Nobody asks questions like that anymore, John. Don't you have a girlfriend? If a girl wants to talk to you, ask her something smart.
If a girl wants to talk to you, ask her something smarter.
Just ignore him.
Just ignore him.
Okay, so then what do you like doing in your spare time?
That's as childish a question as Benjamin is. Can you please ask me something better?
Can you please ask me something better?
If I wasn't here, what would you guys be doing?
Well, the last holiday
The last holiday sucked.
Dad brought us
Dad brought us to Australia again.
to see his
stupid friends.
This time I told him
This
that
time I told him
sailing.
I want to take us sailing.
Mom says all this time is bad
Mom
for
says
skin.
all time is bad for skin. Speech and drama.
How old I
Oh.
am. So I'm going to tell her to bring me shopping.
I'm going to tell her bring me shopping because it's all air conditioned and indoors.
Benjamin, will you shut up?
Benjamin, will you shut up?
That stop being
Let's stop
funny
being
like
funny.
10 years ago,
Like 10 years ago,
I'm
okay?
an asshole.
You're an asshole.
Benjamin's a childish asshole.
Caroline's a childish asshole.
Forget it! John, what do you do during the holidays?
Tuition, homework, sleep. Benjamin, get down from there.
Nope. Nope. It's less boring up here.
John, come sailing with me. We'll leave him behind.
Sure, sounds like fun. When?
Hey, you guys want to try something?
What?
Astral projection. If you concentrate hard enough, you can go anywhere you like. Just control your breathing and you can leave yourself.
Wow, sounds damn cool. Okay, let me try.
I've never heard of this. Is it one of those satanic things?
No, it's scientifically proven.
You've tried?
Many times.
Well, I'm not doing it.
Just push, right?
No, you've got to control your breathing first. Are you breathing slowly?
Yeah. Yeah, in, out, in, out.
So slowly.
Oh.
Okay, now I want you to think about where you are right now. Can you picture it? You see that tree in your mind? The garden, so huge. You feel the wind. We are on the swing, moving slowly. Then, you see yourself.
Okay.
Now, I want you to try to picture yourself slowly rising out of yourself. It's like waking up in the middle of the night. You need to use the bathroom, but where you're lying in is so warm. Rise up. Your body will be tucked behind for you. Can you do that, Benjamin? Benjamin? What do you see, Benjamin?
Haze.
Yes, that's good. Okay, I want you to keep pushing through it. Keep moving.
I'm moving. In a house. A big house. A boy is running away from me. He thinks someone is chasing him, following him. Now he's hiding. And in the bathtub, he's slowly peeking out.
What is it, Benjamin?
I see. Oh my god, it's
Apa!
Scene. Later, the children stage Siti's birthday play to the family, including Siti, the family's domestic helper, Abhor, Caroline and Benjamin's father, Edward, and their mother, Mary. Scene 5. Early morning, in the garden, 2 rows of chairs face each other. John enters first, followed by Caroline and Benjamin, talking to Edward and Mary. Siti helps Abhor to a seat. Caroline, John, and Benjamin stand next to the row of chairs closer to the audience.
grand opening. Oh, in our very own garden. Where's that birthday girl, huh? Siti? Siti, come, sit here, Siti.
Do you need us to adjust the chairs, John?
No, I'm fine. Please sit. Okay, ready? No screw-ups, okay?
Yeah.
Quick, let's start. The audience is getting very bored.
Okay, let's do this. We are starting now. Okay, thanks. Okay, so we made some changes, okay? I'm the narrator, first person, which means I'm one of the characters. You'll see. Okay, starting. In my village, I have a family. There are many of us. This is Gus. Gus is my brother. He's the eldest child in my family. He helps my family with our pig farm. When my father dies, the farm will go to him. Gus may look very tough, but when grandmother died, he was the one who cried the most. And this is Malik. Malik is 1 year younger than Gus. Malik is my Mark's favourite. You see, he was meant to be. Mark even named Malik as close to her name as possible. And the next in line is Joko. Before Joko left for Jakarta, he used to take me on his motorbike to the sea. On the way there, we would buy many coconuts to eat. Joko could always crack the coconuts. We used to see who could throw them further into the water. Joko now drives a man around in a car. And this boy is Hato. Hato was always a bit of a girl. They used to tease him in school, and I had to protect him from them. Because we are so close in age, Hato and I always got along. And here comes my Bak. Don't worry if he doesn't say hi back to you. My Bak is a man of few words. Mark says a lot of things about Bak, but he doesn't reply. Mark says that Bak smokes too much, but he is hardworking. And this is my Mark. You see, she even wore her best clothes for this photo. Mark secretly likes dangdut music. I know because I heard her listening to it in her room when she thought we were all outside. Because I'm the youngest and a girl, Mark never liked me very much. Lastly, this is me. I was 17 when I took this photo. One day, a man from the city came to see my Mark. He said that he was looking for people to make money overseas. I told my Mark that my friend said this man was bad. Many of his girls came back different. The others didn't come back at all. But she didn't listen. She said I should go and make myself useful, make money for the family. After all, it was only for a short time. So I went. It was my first time on an aeroplane. I felt like vomiting, and my ears felt funny for a long time afterwards. Finally, I arrived in Singapore. The man told us to wait. There would be someone else who would come and get us. The first thing I saw was so many colours of people. I felt very scared. The other girls and I, we were brought to a school. This school had many rooms, and in each was a garden and an ironing board. We each our own room, and I learned how to cook, clean, and iron socks. When we graduated, they brought us to an office, and every day we would sit on chairs next to the door. They gave us a book of English, and we learned how to stand up every time anybody came into the door, call them mum, sir, and dust off their chair. Every day, we wait. Then I started to work. My mum and sir were really nice. They didn't beat or scold me. They have a really big house, so there was more to clean. I looked after the children. And I started to make friends. On my Sunday off, my friends brought me to Lucky Plaza. I heard all sorts of terrible stories. They basically said they were getting hit, pregnant, or falling off HDBs. Sometimes on Orchard Road, I see other Indonesians shopping with their families. I think of my pak and my mak. And sometimes work gets hard, I wake up at 4 a.m, but it's okay. Everybody knows I can go back and buy a big house.
Who are you, John? Who are you, to come into my house and do this kind of funny thing? We let you come here, we let you eat with us, we let you stay over, we let you swim, and this is how you repay us? On whose God's bloody earth are you, Young man, you come and lecture me and my damn family on how we should behave, You think this is real smart? Your grandfather owned this place, is it, This is all just a bloody joke to you, right?
Dear, enough.
You keep quiet, Mary. I'm going to get to the bottom of this nonsense. Young man, you look at me. You think this is a bloody newspaper? You saw us beat up City all night long, Did we? Hey, you answer me. You answer me, whose bloody idea was this?
He didn't mean it, dear.
Oh, he damn well meant it. You come in here and you have the cheek to do all this? After all we've fucking done for you?
Dear, please, language.
I have a good mind to whack all of you, I tell you. I don't even care if you're not my child. Go and tell your daddy or mommy. Go and tell them for all I care. See if I care.
See.
That was Staying Over by Danko. The second play to be read is Paper Tiger. In this play, Sunny and his helper Mary must deal with the bond forged between them and the great risk that any love involves. Paper Tiger was directed by Hosea Sulaiman and staged by NUS Stage in 2009 as part of It's Complicated at the NUS Cultural Centre. This play will be performed in its entirety. Jinsheng, Darren and Aruna, please.
Voice of Sunny.
Voice of Mary and woman.
Stage directions. Paper Tiger, Scene 1. A flat, afternoon. In front of the stage, a living room with a black and white wallpaper of trees receding and advancing at regular intervals. At the rear of the stage, a child's bedroom on the right. On the left, a big brown door leading to master bedroom closed. Sunny in his school uniform lies on the couch with his legs over the lap of Mary, wearing a t-shirt and shorts. As he speaks, Mary attends to the cut on Sunny's leg.
And then he just turned away. Mary, are you listening to me? Mary?
Yes, I'm listening. You tell Auntie Mary how it happened.
Okay, but now you must really listen. Okay? Okay?
Okay, I am listening.
So today, teacher never come again, right? So me and Li Jia, we make stapler bombs. See who can make more to throw at Joyce later. Then right, I make so many already. And somehow, I make my one special because I use 2 times the staple bullet. And then I highlight mine yellow in color. And then right, after I make so many already, I go to the toilet. But when I come back, they are already half gone, I know it's Li Jia because he suddenly got so many. I was damn angry, man. I say to him, you give me back now, I tell teacher. But he just say, nanny poo poo and walk away. So you know what I do?
Did you count to 10 like Mom says?
Yeah. But by the time I reached 4, I took out my pencil and I stabbed him like this.
Terrible you! I I hope you didn't kill him.
No, I give him chance. But you know what? He still start crying like a girl and say I give him lead poisoning. He chased and whacked me until we almost reached the school field already. When I turn back and look at him and I fall down. Later everyone say they never see so much blood before.
But it's just a small scratch.
It's damn pain, okay? You see, my knee scratched until all the hair drop off already.
Wow, my big boy. Now Auntie Mary is going to apply the yellow solution, okay? It'll just be
No, I don't want.
Come, be a big brave boy for Auntie Mary. Hold my hand. Auntie Mary will just put a little bit, you see? I will count to 3, and once I dab, I promise I will rub very quickly and then it will all be over and...
Mary surreptitiously applies the iodine solution.
Ow! Mary, you tricked me. You know what happens to tricky people, right?
Sunny slowly sits up with a grin. Mary quickly dabs on the plaster. They chase each other around and up the couch. Sunny is tickling and grabbing at Mary.
No, please!
I'm gonna get you. I got you. Ha, see? I always get you.
Not always. Your leg is fine now. Made such a big fuss too.
No, Mary, it's still pain. Can you massage for me? Please, here.
They return to original position. Mary kneads Sunny's thigh.
Better?
Sing me the song too, Mary.
Wow, Mr. Big Boss today. Oh, Danny boy.
The pipes are calling
from
glen to glen,
and down
the mountainside.
The summer's gone and... Sonny, you know it's not nice what you did this afternoon to people. Your Auntie Mary won't always be there to come rescue you from school. You must listen to your mom and papa.
She pats his leg and stands to leave.
Okay. Kiss?
You are so big already.
Kiss me and my leg won't be pain anymore.
Fine. A small one.
No! Kiss me like the first time you sent me off to school.
Yes, sir. Whatever you say, sir.
Mary bends down to kiss Sunny on the forehead. At the last minute, Sunny brings his head up to kiss Mary on the lips. He misses.
Where did you learn this kind of thing from? Gosh, come watch the TV.
Mary plants Sunny, satiated, in front of the TV. Mary, looking back to ensure that Sunny is watching the TV, retreats to Sunny's bedroom. Mary resumes packing things into a Chan Brothers bag. Some time passes.
Mary! What are you doing? Come watch TV with me.
Cleaning. I don't have so much time like you.
But I don't get paid to watch TV, what?
A pause. Sunny gets up from the TV and runs over to Mary.
Mary, what are you?
Cleaning. What else?
What's this bag for?
Mom is going on a trip. I'm helping her pack. Go back to TV.
Mommy doesn't use such pork bags. Eh? Aren't these my old clothes?
No, these are... I'm only going to give these to my Ramos. I'm going on holiday with Mom, Sonny. Just for a while.
Where?
Canada.
They are mine. I'm not going to... No, if I'm not going, you cannot take them.
Sonny, please, don't make me do this. Auntie Mary is very busy now, okay?
Sunny goes back to the TV, not watching. After a while, he picks up the phone.
Hello? Madeline? Yeah, this is Sunny. Is my mommy there? Oh, then can you help me pass a message to her? Tell my mommy that I hope she and Auntie Mary have a good holiday. But if mommy don't bring Auntie Mary back, I will hate her forever. Okay, that's it. Bye-bye.
Scene 2. Same location, evening.
Come, boy, it's time for bed.
But it's not even
You must be tired after such a long day.
I guess so. But I want you to carry me.
Okay. One last time.
She carries Sunny and places him on the bed. Mary sits by Sunny's head.
Tuck me in, Mary.
Comfy?
Mary strokes Sunny's hair repeatedly.
You've been such a good boy, Sonny. Auntie Mary will always be so proud of you.
Tell me a story, Mary.
Okay. Just lie back. Close your eyes. There was once a little girl, just about your age. This little girl, she stayed with her parents in a nice old home. There was a mother, there was a father, and there were many brothers and sisters. The sisters slept together in one bed, and it was always warm and never too full. The mosquitoes spread out their bites between them. But one night, she woke up and she found that her eldest sister, the one she loved the most, was no longer by her side. She looked out of the window and saw this great brightness from far away, and she felt she had to go and look. When she did, she saw that there were a million stars in the sky, and they lit up the entire night. Just when she was looking at them, she heard a growl at her feet, and she looked down. It was a tiger. It was looking at her, and its eyes were burning bright, like in that poem, you remember?
Mary looks down to find Sunny drifting off to sleep.
Watch me while I sleep.
Mary stops stroking Sunny's hair.
She had to follow the tiger into the jungle. They kept walking barefoot, even after they lost the path. Walking and walking, no rest, until she started to think of her other family back home. She thought of her boys. She wondered if they remembered how her hands felt. She wondered if it was really the toys that they missed. She wondered fiercely where he got that motorcycle from and why. And then she thought, maybe it was better for her to go. Maybe there was no place left to go back to. But still they kept walking until the tiger brought her to a clearing. There was a fire and her sister. How happy she was to find her sister in a land of many strangers. She called out for her, but her sister looked at her and couldn't even see her. The tiger looked back. In its eyes, this looked like he had tried his best. That was when she realized it was really a big cat, and there was nothing to be afraid of. She picked it up, and he began to purr.
A female voice calls out.
Mary, it's time.
Mary looks down at Sunny and kisses him.
Will you forgive me?
Mary exits. Over the flat, the stars come out. Scene 3. The stage is cleared of furniture except for the door to master bedroom. Stars overhead. Sunny, in his blue-striped pajamas, has been awoken by the sound of a door slamming. Then, the sound of a car screeching away is heard.
Mary! Mary? Mary, I'm thirsty. Mary!
Sunny realizes the bag is missing.
Mary! Mary, where are you?
Sunny goes to the master bedroom door. He knocks.
Mommy? Mommy? Where's Mary? Mom? Mommy, please, you promised that. Mommy, please, not now, Mommy!
Sunny bangs on the door. A female voice pronounces.
Mary is gone, darling. Go back to sleep. It's back to us now.
Mommy, open the door, please. I just need to talk to you for a while. Mommy, please, just open the door. Let me see her, please. I promise I will grow up now, Mommy. I won't make her carry my bag anymore. I won't scold her. I give you my pocket money to pay her, okay, Mommy, okay?
Door opens. Woman, played by the same actress as Mary, enters, wearing a dress.
What are you doing?
I thought they took Mary away.
You thought.
I thought I heard.
You thought you heard what? You think what? You think where are we going? We just went downstairs to do a rehearsal.
But the bag.
What bag? Don't be silly. Come, what's this? You wet your pants again. Well now, you're just going to have to clean it up yourself now, aren't you? What do you think your friends will say? Would you like us to put that plastic sheet back on your mattress so that when you wee-wee you can swim in it all night? Huh? Do you?
I don't know.
Don't cry anymore, come here. You can send me away now. You drive the car and I'll sit in the back. Make it colder. Good, now drive. Oh, keep to your lane. Didn't you see that car coming? Now sing.
Oh, Danny boy, the
Louder.
Down the mountainside.
Clearer.
And all the flowers. This you.
Good, good. But you can do better next time if you try harder. We're here. Let me off. I'm going now. You can send me cards on my birthday if you like. Stay like this until I get back.
Woman exits. Blackout.
That was Paper Tiger by Dan Koh. Our final play extract is Con, a full-length tragicomedy about an unnamed conman who cheats a succession of residents within the same HDB block. Granny, Auntie, Uncle, Girl, and Binti, all were on the run from policemen. A homage to the seminal Crime Watch series, Con explores the power of the media, and perhaps more crucially, the power that is seeded with passivity. Junsheng, Darren and Aruna will be reading Act 1, Scene 1 of the play, in which the conman masquerades as a social worker and attempts to convince an old lady that she has won a spot on a TV makeover program. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Con by Dan Koh.
Voice of conman and stage directions.
Voice of
Voice of policeman and stage direction. Con, Act 1.
Okay, we start from beginning, okay? First segment is the interior redecoration. You pretend the camera, okay? So you just enter your house.
I go and change
No need rehearsal only. Okay, we pretend you're wearing your outside clothes now, okay? Then they will just pan across the house, pan. Wow, ayo, zoom into you. You ready for your close up? The host will say, hi,
Then I say what?
You say hi.
Afterwards I say wrong thing how? Nice to...
Yeah, then the host will say, this is a disaster, like Malaysia. What happened?
You want story
Tell him why.
Why what?
Why this place like side like that?
Got reason one meh?
Is it last time, World War II, your house gonna bombed by Japanese? You must eat sweet potato every day, so now you collect to compensate for the continuous state of deprivation that persists in your shriveled, barely functioning mind?
No.
Or your family got heritage of mental illness, some inherited hoarding disease, right?
No. One day you start collecting, then next day like this lor.
You must tell this nice man here a better story, okay? Then he'll give you all the free things you want.
Like this, nothing is ever lost. One day we'll find use one. My collection, my arrangement.
Okay. Then you say, I have OCD. You try.
I have OCD.
Good, first step pass. Okay, now you can throw it all away.
Throw?
Yeah, throw everything away to get new things.
But my thing.
Yeah, up to you if you want the free things.
I want.
Then must throw. You don't want to disappoint this nice man here, right?
One. But all these things, how long already you know?
Aiya, what to do? TV is just like that one.
Really must.
Must. So, when host asks you want to throw or not, what are you going to say?
Throw.
Wow, say until like that, what ending is it?
Throw.
Better! You know the smile, huh? Smile.
Throw.
Good. Okay. Now interview finished, moving people will come. Now if you want, you can cry a little bit lah. A lot of ways to show emotion. Can hug the host, 1 tear, 2 tears, cry on TV, or can walk around, touch the empty walls a bit, feel the pictures taken off the 10 nights. Yeah? This one can?
This one can.
Okay. Now, time to get free things. Hey, what's your style?
What thing?
Style. The free things you're getting, right? What kind of design you want?
Expensive carroty.
Expensive also got many sorts. Like what kind of aesthetic direction you're heading in? I tell you what. Easier this way. You listen This one very important. I have to tell the nice people what you want. So you go and bring me 2 items. Number 1 is your style item. So we know what look you want. Can? Then number 2 is your personal item. So your new house will have what they call it, the thing. So.
How I think?
You listen. Okay, number 1, style, 你的 look. Number 2, personal, 你的 most precious 的东西.
Okay. 1, 2. I try to find.
Exits. Conman surveys the room and its contents before enters. Enters.
Wow, so fast.
I told you, my arrangement, I never lose anything.
Good. Okay, come. Let's see what you have.
So this one my number one. Have style or not?
Passes knitting over.
Knitting it's very beige You want your house style to be beige?
Beige? This color is oatmeal! I have a dream. If every morning I can wake up and see oatmeal everywhere, wow, how good that would be!
We'll try our best And that is your personal item
Yeah,
Come, I see.
I have for a long time already.
Yeah, I see.
Okay.
Give it.
Okay, now it's here already.
I see.
I can feel
Passes basket. Biscuit tin over.
So this is your personal item. Royal assorted biscuits. I know exactly what you mean. Come here. Over here, we are going to put your new TV and hi-fi. Leather sofa over there, underneath Persian carpet, okay? You want a new bed?
one.
We'll throw in new carpets also.
Good wood.
Best wood, customized all the way to the ceiling.
And the door?
Sliding, folding, transparent mirror, anything you want.
For my table.
Marble top, fall down also won't break.
Put in the kitchen.
And a new fridge there, silver, double door, up and down.
Inside,
Fully stocked.
fish.
Lots of fish. I'll tell them put lots and lots of fishes
I
inside.
want pomfret.
Lifetime warranty, 1 year supply of pomfret fish. How about that? I will try a new stove also. Just for you, no more charcoal.
No more chocolate.
Oh, and I forgot one more thing.
Come on,
The host will give you money.
How much money?
1000 $10,000.
10,000 fucks
I know, right? What you plan to do with the money? Treat your friends to seafood buffet, go on world tour, invest in stock.
I am going to save.
Good, earn interest.
No, save.
Okay, up to you. Up to you. I see. Appear on TV, quite easy, right?
Wow, thanks to you. Thanks to you, you are a good boy. Now maybe life will get better. Hey, but cannot say too fast. Later bad luck.
Don't worry, now quite safe to say.
Lee Kuan Yew going to come. Lee Kuan Yew knows. Nowadays there are 2 nights. I will go to sleep at night. Wake up, it's night again. I'll have 8 children. 8 children. Eldest one, second one, third one, fourth one.
I'm sure 1 to 8 will all be very happy for you.
When are the people coming?
Tomorrow.
Wow, so fast.
Yeah. So, morning time, they will come and knock at your door. So, I think I better go first, okay? You bring your stuff to show the designers,
Scene. Later alone, calls a social worker, Sally.
Sally, quick, tell her all to change. I know I'm not supposed to know, but I just found my lucite purse. It's better than my knitting for style item. Quick, go and tell. Your colleague lah. Yeah, just. My knitting, my biscuit. Don't be silly. Why got this kind of thing? You're just angry because he told me, right? Don't pretend, Sally. You're so funny. Okay. You go and tell police. Go and tell. Silly girl, Sally.
Hums co-porters night and day. She finally sits and dozes off. Doorbell rings. Wakes up.
Come already. He's here.
Opens the door.
Madam Chua, Superintendent Norman Tan, Bedok Neighborhood Police Post. May I join you?
Shit.
Policeman enters.
I'm here to investigate a tip-off from one Sally Lee regarding a fraud. Madam Chua, I understand this must be a challenging time for you. You have my sympathies. So the more you cooperate, the faster I can leave you to your misery. Then, can you describe the suspect? You don't speak English, do you? William, Norman Tan. She ain't cracking me. Get the Sally woman down. Pronto.
Cheat me.
As mumbles herself back to sleep, policeman takes out a dictaphone from his left breast pocket.
Another day, another time, another place, another crime. It all began on a sunny Wednesday afternoon. I was at the barber's getting my 1x2 when William called. A fraudster on the loose. I pulled the powdered blue gown off and told the barber man to keep the strap down. Outside, I couldn't sprint fast enough to avoid spying the huge yellow sun full of pus of 1,000 years. I wanted nothing more than to be back in my den with the shades down and the shades on. Kindergarten children slittered across my path, holding the hands of their two-bit delinquent, no good friends. Back on the mean streets of Bedok, this one-dog town has seen its fair share of gold pickers. Could this be a renaissance or just a reacquaintance? I thought as I arrived at the fateful apartment. I was told she has been fleeced of valuables. Judging by her insides, I was misinformed. It was as swelled and smoky as an opium den. All one needed was a slowly revolving fan, and the scum of the earth would come pouring out of the woodwork. What was not smoking was the silent mouth game, sandy-haired with a touch of class long gone. She had a face like a bucket of mud. She scowled at me as I stepped in, playing me like a violin. I had to crack this case with my own smarts.
Aunt wakes up.
Abaya, come already?
Madam Chua,
Too old to call your Amma, is it? Come back already. They all said I was dreaming, but I always knew.
please, Madam Chua,
Amma, hey, boy, change clothes already. No more white. You come. Let me change my clothes also. Boy, come back already. Come and see me. Give me money. Give me everything.
It was then that I noticed the fingerprints. 5 black paw marks on the wall. My little man knew it was the confident trickster himself, a sign. But it was too easy. Way too easy. There had to be something more. This fraudster was baiting me, willing me to catch him. Yes, my little man said it was he. But somewhere down the line, it was spoken to me of a wayward broad. Yes, my little man is never wrong. Signs began appearing, and not only of the sort that made me take a cleansing shower afterwards. Signs.
Policeman picks up a copy of Lee Kuan Yew's From Third World to First.
To mommy, dearest, my life, my love, always, Harry.
Aunt wanders back.
Leon told me I was wrong, boy. But Amma always knew you will come back. Amma always knew. Come, eat abalone porridge.
What with the grub and this gold? This looked to me like it could be a beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Policeman clicks off his dictaphone, blackout.
Thank you to the actors Fu Junsheng, Darren Goh and Aruna Narendran, as well as director Joel Tan. We'll now move on to the question and answer session with Dan. So what I'll do is I'll begin asking Dan a couple of questions first before we open the session to the floor. So if any of you have a question, you can just raise your hand or stand up and shout your question across the room. Okay? So, hello Mr. Cole. Okay, so the first question I have for you is, okay, because actually when Dan invited me to the event and he titled it Derashni, I was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen that word before. Alright, so I went to check the dictionary, and Derashni means to pull up by or as if by the roots, uproot, extirpate, or to remove as from a natural environment. So why Derashni?
Yeah, sorry, I know the theme very serious, but I mean primarily because I really love the word deracinate, and I also I like the image lah. Because most of my writing so far, and actually currently also, is about Singapore's history, and I guess like the policeman, I discover more and more signs of I guess like dislocation, this sort of disjuncture from the past. And I think recently with this kind of popularity of nostalgia, or almost obsession with nostalgia in a way, maybe what might actually be more helpful or productive from the past is to quite simply see how it actually affects our lives today, and more importantly also how it will inevitably occur in the future again. And can we try to learn something from history? Can we try to learn from the diversity of opinions that used to abound in the past, especially pre-so-called independence, pre-60s. So I guess coming back to the image of a tree being pulled out of the ground, can we find some way to transplant, some little sapling and make it grow again? Yeah, because when trees fall down, they rot, then they release a lot of methane gas. It's bad for all of us. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So I do see that those themes of like uprooting or dislocation in the work that's been presented to us by the actors in your plays, and also in the piece that you read out to all of us. But what about the work that you're doing in the residency? Is this also part of that whole theme of deracination?
It is sort of ongoing. It is part of the ongoing project I'm doing. So for the residency, I'm working on two things. First is a book. Hopefully one day it will become a book. But I'm working on a manuscript. It's currently about. It's sort of novella length, and it concerns some of the things that I read about in Soundscaping Jurong. Namely, I'm starting with my mother's side of the family. I'm sort of interviewing not only her but all her surviving brothers and sisters about Amakim. So to kind of look at, I guess, my maternal side of the story, my mother tongue, or my roots from that side, in a sense, to try to connect it to the broader story of Singapore's resettlement from, I think, a very, sort of thoughtlessly rapid transition from a largely rural to a completely urban society. So to sort of start from my mother's side of the story to go up, and I'm also working on a play about secondary school and mental illness and the Julia Gabriel public speaking competitions. So they're quite random things, but the main project is the book.
Okay, maybe one last question before we let the audience maybe ask you questions as well. So I noticed that you have a very keen interest in the west side of Singapore. And I mean, the idea of, it kind of struck me because in Alfian Saad's play, Cooling Off Day, he does kind of like portray like, the east side of Singapore and the west side of Singapore as being like the two polar extremes. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think what I often wrote in Cooling Off Day, it was a documentary play, so he was interviewing, if I'm not wrong, I can't remember who exactly was interviewing, but the person he was interviewing, the way he portrayed what the person said was that the west of Singapore represents new Singapore and the east old Singapore, because if you look at the concentration of shop houses in the east versus the concentration of factories like Jurong Industrial Estate in the west, you can sort of see that shift in time. And my interest from the west, in the west, I guess kind of originates from hip hop, because I love listening to hip hop, and like, one of my favorite rappers, his name is Nas. He like, he comes from this part of New York called Queensbridge, which a lot of other rappers have come from, and like, in his verses, he's always very proudly reclaiming Queensbridge, as a place that formed him, because Queensbridge is actually a place where a lot of poverty and drug addiction is also concentrated in, but that sort of flip of a negative into a positive, in a sense, really inspired me. So I would like to think that I represent Jurong East in some way. Yeah, so that's why and I'm really drawn to the West constantly having a bad reputation. I don't think its reputation is earned. I'm not like truly wanting to split Jurong away from Singapore, I think, but I really value that this concept of the countryside in Singapore, and I think to me Jurong is something closest to a countryside, to me at least nowadays. I know it sounds ridiculous, but just that whole concept of being alone somewhere, being far away from all the hype, and sort of valuing what formed you, in a sense.
Okay, so Jurong represents, you have like some kind of sign or
Just the west side, gang rappers, but don't need sign.
Okay, then maybe shall we open up the floor, the audience? Do you have any questions for Dan?
Anything at all. Don't need to be like formal or anything. Especially the people who are not familiar to me. Thanks so much for coming. I really would love to hear any of your thoughts or comments on anything. Should we start with Mariah Carey? You guys that's a new song, by the way. It's called The Art of Letting Go. I highly recommend it.
What is creative non-fiction?
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay, so creative non-fiction, yeah. Okay, I claim that I write creative non-fiction. Actually, it's quite a trendy term. I can't claim to fully understand creative non-fiction as yet. From what I understand of it, creative non-fiction to me, quite simply put, is non-fiction in the sense of the truthfulness in terms of its adherence to facts, but perhaps presented in a more engaging and interesting way, which blends personal parts of the stories. And when I write, I try not to fall into, I think, a common pitfall of creative nonfiction, which is, its tendency to be a bit navel-gazing. But in writers who I admire, like John Jeremiah Sullivan, or even David Sedaris, that engaging, entertaining, yet factual way of presenting lives is something that I'm quite drawn to.
I have a question. Yes. From your vantage point as non-fiction.
Hi.
Hi.
From your vantage point as a non-fiction writer primarily, what would you say good writing is? And does it differ from fiction writing? If there are any differences?
So good non-fiction writing.
Yeah, and sorry, part B of the question is, would you say there's something called, would you say there's such a thing as bad writing?
Wow, okay. First part, what? Okay. Oh, okay. I think broadly speaking, like the terms good and bad, I think are something, we, and especially I am quite drawn to when it comes to talking about art, because it's very immediate, like, hey, you watch this movie, was it good or was it bad? But I think I've tried to stop using that term quite self-consciously, because I think, you know, good and bad implies a value judgment, and it most of the time tends to devolve into like a personal attack against the creator of the art, which I think is something that's quite pertinent in Singapore, when lots of creative people, basically everyone knows each other lah. So, you know, instead of something being good or bad art, I would think, you know, it is what it maybe failed to achieve what it set out to do, or maybe it simply just wasn't my kind of thing, you know, because like, and coming to your question about what makes good writing, or good non-fiction writing in particular, I mean for me lah, because part of the creative writing residency, Jasmine and I are also teaching students. So Jasmine mainly teaches poetry, and I teach fiction or creative non-fiction. And you know, when it comes to students' work, I try to be very aware of the fact that I don't want them to write in my style, or the style that I like, you know, because I think that's a risk of, you know, some creative writing courses, you know, where you're just pandering to the instructor's whims. So I mean, I like, personally, I like realistic, hyper-realistic, surrealistic kind of writing. I like funny writing. I like super tragic, you know, Sophocles kind of writing. And good writing is anything that I think engages you and makes you think. Does that answer the question?
There's a part B. What is bad writing?
You answered that at the start.
Okay. Maybe if I could just get more detail from Dan, because I mean, I also think that, you know, like in terms of good writing, there are universal characteristics of what makes good writing, and in a sense, if you fall short of those characteristics, it's not very good, right? So are there some characteristics?
What are the universal characteristics?
I don't know. Do you have some? Do you have some like that? You know, you do in your teaching, you do like tell your students, okay, maybe follow this direction. You know, do you have certain characteristics you point out to your students?
Okay, I should start by saying that, you know, I still feel like I'm really learning as a writer, you know. Like, this is maybe like my 4th or 5th year properly writing, but, you know, like, so I always tell my students that I'm learning, you know, with them, you know, and in terms of advice to students, in terms of like universal qualities, I think maybe one of them, especially in this day and age, is to not bore the reader. Recently, someone was telling me about this new acronym called TLDR, called Too Long Didn't Read. And, you know, I don't know whether it's reflective of most people on the internet, because, you know, everyone, the reader nowadays. But, you know, it's a struggle, and I think you always got to be conscious that our lives, unfortunately, are so busy now. You know, we can't consume 600-page novels, but whatever we are able to consume, is very precious lah. So, you know, keep the reader engaged. And I think it's always so crucial. I always ask myself, you know, so what? You know, so what is this about? So what if you can string words together and make them sound nice? You know, what are you trying to say? You know, and my students are from the University Scholars program. So they're very high-achieving students lah. You know, they write brilliantly. Sometimes maybe a bit too essayistically, but you know, I try to use that to help them along. You know, so like if you want to approach it like an essay, in each paragraph, you know, how does this connect, even in some tangential form, to what you are trying to say ultimately? You know, of course it can't be, you know, thesis, antithesis, synthesis, but yeah, talk to the reader and keep the reader with you and make them think, hopefully, or feel something. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I think we have time for about 2 more questions. Yeah.
Hi Dan, I'm Robin from the National Critics College. My question is this, I spoke to a well-known author on my talk show and he said to me this, don't ask me about my successes, ask me about my mistakes. So my question for you is, what are your biggest mistakes you've made as a writer?
Wow. Okay. It feels like a very like Miss Universe moment. Like, win the crown. Okay. Mistakes. Okay, mistakes. I think because I started writing while I was still in school, I mean, I kind of always wanted to be a writer, but it's only in university that properly started writing when I took a playwriting module under Who's Here, Suleiman. And I think from there, when I started writing plays and I started writing creative non-fiction while studying, and then while doing sort of freelance work, and while maintaining side projects, I think my biggest mistake then was to try to overreach too quickly, maybe. I think I kind of burnt out quite quickly, and I think you can kind of see in the writing also, like the plays were my early work, and now even looking at it, I don't think I was. I think I was in a darker place than I am now, so because I really felt like, I had to achieve and everything, but I think my biggest mistake was that I didn't take it slow, but, luckily got, sort of a second chance, and, hopefully will become a lifelong thing, I hope, work towards that.
So if you had not made those mistakes, you would have not been a great writer.
But I'm not a great writer. Okay, I don't think I qualify to be a great writer yet, but thanks, it's really very kind of you. Yeah, I think but really mistakes are very much part of the learning process. And I mean, when my friends and I talk about Singapore literature, I think one thing that kind of makes us a bit sad is that a lot of young writers have one book or a good collection of poems, and then there's no sustainability because they get sucked into their full-time jobs, which is very understandable. Or maybe initially they like me had tried to move too fast, so I think maybe just to become a writer, to take things a bit slower. It's like I think the rush to be published is a bit worrying. I think it's okay if you're 30, 40, 50 and publish your first book. Every writer has their own development. Not everyone can be 17 and publish a book. Some authors out there.
Yeah, hi there. You said you do creative non-fiction, so I would be assuming that the creative side would be sort of straddling the boundary between fiction and non-fiction. So it's like in film, what we have is the poetic mode of documentary, which is you have very very artsy portrayals of factual historical occurrences. So if you all watch things like Walter Bashir, it's basically and Persepolis, they're basically cartoon portrayals which take liberties with historical facts. So my question to you is, how do you view this straddling this boundary between fiction and non-fiction in your work?
Yeah, I think that's really interesting, and thanks. I think it's to make especially very heavy but important things like war, or even just very important historical events engaging is very important. Because there are only so many people who would have the the time and the energy to delve into like historical, factual accounts. So I'm all for, creative endeavors like Wars with Bashir or Persepolis that make it, more interesting, more even directly applicable to modern lives. But I think, yeah, as you mentioned, the gap between fiction and non-fiction is something that I think, especially when you're dealing with heavy subjects, you can be especially sensitive about, because, I'm sure as a lot of you all remember, there was this author called James Frey, Million Little Pieces. It was kind of exposed to be a lot. He presented it as a memoir, but a lot of the facts about his addictions were quite grossly exaggerated lah. And I think that was just his life story, but it became meaningful to so many people. So what I'm saying is that I think it's always very, very important to do justice to the facts, to be honest, which I think that some or all newspapers here don't necessarily do all the time. And there are newspapers, and here we are, non-fiction or fiction writers or readers and everything. And if we can't even trust the newspaper, when we read what is supposed to be fiction or what is supposed to be non-fiction, like our bullshit checker is sort of dampened,
Can I clarify? Yeah, it's like I'm not saying straddling this boundary between fiction and non-fiction is a bad thing. It's more of like it's sort of like growing like what you said, growing new saplings from deracinated tree. So yeah, it wasn't like fiction bad, non-fiction good. It's like this new grey boundary opens up this space for discussion, like your stuff.
So the hybrid zone. What about the hybrid zone, please?
I was asking you about your thoughts on that.
I think maybe like I don't want to keep you too long, but maybe like one last example is like I think when we started Postcode, which is an online magazine about modern Singapore, when Vicky and I started it after the 2011 elections, we really wanted to fill that gap online between very opinion-based blogs and very supposedly factual websites. There didn't seem to be a middle ground that was sort of trustable yet relatable, and I can't say that we pioneered this. A lot of it was inspired by the New Yorker magazine and many other magazines overseas. But Vicky, who's the other co-founder of Postcode, she sort of messaged me the other day, and she was saying that she stumbled back onto the website, and she was quite happy to reread some of the pieces that we did together, because she feels, and I think I feel that way also, that it kind of at least sparked off a little type of conversation about how we can engage with what's out there. Can we look into our own lives, the lives of people around us, and then do research, go back to books, fact check things with the interviewees, like cross-compare, sources. I can't say that my work is even that rigorous, but to aspire towards that, I think is it maybe could really help more people read in Singapore, because I don't think it's anything wrong that most Singaporeans read self-help books or business books. I think we got to, time is precious, man, we got to read practically, so like, yes, read newspapers, read non-fiction, but if it can make you feel, it can make you think also, I think that's great.
just want to thank you for your candor and your fidelity. And I also want to return after all of these very macro, overarching questions back to your soundscape in Jurong. And again, gratitude for bringing me back to Jurong East, because it's a locale that I have not, it's not entered my mind in years, you know, even though I live still in the West, but closer to town. And when you said red, white, and green, that just flashed, you know, in my mind. It was that image of our kindergarten. I mean, it's crazy.
Christina and I recently, Christina is my friend from NUS, we recently discovered that we went to the Seventh-day Adventist kindergarten together.
Represent. But I also do want to comment that the odd disjuncture, as you say in the piece, is all of these referencing really Western, European, American music. Some of it that I didn't get the references, you know, maybe only Max Richter, David Byrne, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so without actually hearing the music, but trying to imagine or place a sound that I'm not really totally familiar with in another, you know, location that I have very faint memories of, 1 to 4 years old, barely. That was fuzzy, you know. And I also want to ask on these Western shores, or this Western outreach, like this very remote place of Singapore, are you trying also or attempting to reach further out west? You know, is there also a reluctance? I don't know. I'm trying to dig not to the islands, but to the west, to America.
Oh no lah. No. I get, the west. Yeah. No,
I'm trying to figure that out because the music is there.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, some backstory, like Max Lane and I kind of worked on it independently. So because Max also is a Jurong resident, the whole idea was just, and Julian, by the way, who's a photographer, is also from Jurong. So like, you know, it was all just like, hey, let's do this, let's all just go out and sort of capture the Jurong that we know. So we kind of worked on it quite separately. I think Max chose stuff that meant something to him, you know. And actually he does have some Japanese composers, if I'm not wrong. I don't think I fully did justice to his mix, you know, but I guess, to be honest, like growing up I was very enamored by the West, you know, we can call it that.
I don't exactly want to make it about, you know, the West, but how I was reading it, perhaps to make it clearer, or how I was listening to it, was more of a travel piece. For me, it was a travel log, rather than all of this about rootedness, because this place is a place that I need to revisit, or I ought to, perhaps, upon your compulsion.
Yeah, I like traveling around Jurong. I love reading Bruce Chatwin, especially in Patagonia. You know, of course Patagonia is much more exotic, but all we've got is like Jurong East and Clementi and, you know, some other places. So like, you know, it sounds ridiculous, but it's also, you know, when you really pay attention to one street, especially after you spend so long there, like meanings kind of coagulate, you know, they really come together, and I find that for Jurong at least, they are centered around people, you know, and family members who are also in Jurong, less so places. I think growing up here, you learn to, unfortunately, stop yourself from falling in love with places, because it's not very wise to do so. Yeah, so I think if maybe to broaden it up, if we think about what we miss about Singapore, I mean, for me personally, when I went on exchange to London and I had a really good time, I realized that what I miss about Singapore was my family and my friends here, and maybe like walking around in a singlet and shorts, it was very like, it was just really mainly centering on my family and friends. And when people say the so-called Singapore identity is about food or about Singlish or about certain things, I don't know, I don't connect with those things, so yeah, I like traveling around Singapore, and I have a lot of Singapore that I've yet to travel and find out about. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, very sorry, but this is all the time that we have for the evening. But you are warmly invited to stay behind to chat with Dan, Joel, or any of the actors who read tonight.